Welcome back, everyone. I'm sure by now you've seen the empty shelves where baby and infant formula used to be. We're trying to see what we can do, and we're checking in with what some of the experts are saying is holding up the process. Let's bring in our next guest, Peter Pitts, former FDA Associate Commissioner and President at the Center for Medicine in the Public Interest. Thank you so much for joining us. So obviously a lot of parents wondering, when can they expect some relief, and what are the biggest holdups at the moment?
I think the good news is we are definitely at the beginning of the end of these shortages. When the FDA shut down the Abbott plant in Sturgis, Michigan, one of the first things they did was contact all the other baby formula manufacturers to have them ramp up their production. That's happened, and that's helping to ameliorate the shortage a little bit. Just today, Rob Califf, the commissioner of the FDA, said the FDA is going to allow more foreign baby formula into the U.S. That will help. Abbott has been bringing in baby formula from its FDA-approved plant in Ireland. And I guess the best news is that I suspect this week the FDA will give Abbott the thumbs up to begin production in its Sturgis plant. And so the shortage should be over 4 to 6, possibly 10 weeks. So there's still a ways to go and a lot of frustration for parents, but there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, Peter, that certainly is reassuring. I'm a mother of a 5-month-old, so I certainly could be potentially immediately impacted by this shortage. I want to play for you a soundbite from FDA Commissioner Dr. Robert Califf. He was on CNN earlier today. You laid out some of the plans that he has to help with the shortage, but let's take a listen to what exactly he had to say.
In terms of what we're doing, we're working with the manufacturers to increase their production. We're working on the supply chain to get the right product to the right place at the right time. We're working closely with Abbott to get that plant that was shut down up and operating as soon as possible. And we're also working to make it possible to use formula that was intended for other countries.
Peter, it certainly seems like you said, they are now taking initiative and working to address this issue, the shortage, but it doesn't seem like it should have or needed to get to this point. Why are we where we are today?
Well, first of all, when the FDA inspected this plant, it was completely out of spec, lacks safety protocols, produces bad quality. And I'll tell you, the only thing worse, as a mom, you'll appreciate this, the only thing worse than a baby formula shortage are substandard baby formulas out there on the market. So the FDA did the right thing. They really had no alternative but to shut down this plant. Now, that being said, what the FDA should have done as soon as they did that was to inform American parents that shortages might be on the way. Give parents a chance to think about, alternative sourcing, speak to retailers to make sure that hoarding and mass buying didn't take place. And that didn't happen. The result was people went to the market one day in May and the shelves were empty and panic ensued. And that's never the best way to get things done. But, again, I think hopefully we learn from this lesson, that transparency. And that's certainly, I think, the message from COVID-19. When you share the truth with the American public, good things happen. When you keep the truth from people, people get confused and angry and they panic, and we're going in the wrong direction. But right now, I'm optimistic.
Yeah, former FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb said yesterday on Face the Nation that factory has issues going back years. But Peter, how much do trade policies get us into this mess, whether it be protecting U.S. businesses or keeping Canadian products out?
Well, 95% of the baby formula used in the U.S. is produced at home. So it isn't a question of bringing it all home. And Canada, while it looks pretty big on a map, doesn't have that many people in it, and you can't suck the baby formula out of Canada to help Americans. So it's part of the solution. It isn't the answer to the problem. The bigger problem, the real shot across the bow, is baby formula is a consolidated business, meaning that there are only a few large manufacturers. And when one goes off the market, these types of shortage issues happen. So what the FDA has to think about is, even beyond baby formula, throughout the whole, the width and breadth of the FDA portfolio of regulation, there are drugs and there are devices, IV tubing, for example, hospital injectables, insulin, that are only manufactured by a few companies. So we've really got to have a strategy in place for when one of these plants goes offline because of safety issues or weather or an earthquake or, God forbid, a terrorist attack, so we don't get caught with our pants down a second time.
And Peter, going off of that, as former FDA Associate Commissioner, have you seen anything like this before?
Well, certainly over the last 10 years, there have been issues on the drug side, for example, with hospital injectable products and IV tubing. And the solutions that the FDA put in place very smartly was to actually staff a department that regularly reaches out to these companies to find out if a line is going down for cleaning or if there are mechanical problems. And if there are, they can reach out to the competition and say, can you help us ramp up supply or divert certain products to certain places? It's the FDA being kind of the first among equals within the healthcare ecosystem. That's been working on the drug side. And that type of similar strategy, I think, could work very well on the food side.
Now, for parents at home, a lot of them are sort of searching online, looking for some alternatives, some safe, some not, those who can afford it. Some are going to human milking banks in these places where women go and donate their breast milk. What should people be aware of at this point when they're looking for some of these solutions online as they're seeing these empty shelves?
Well, firstly, let me tell you what parents should not do. Parents should not try to make their own baby formula. It's complicated chemistry. You can't do it at home. You shouldn't dilute baby formula. It's bad for the baby. You shouldn't give a baby on formula whole milk. That's a horrible place to go. And don't go online. People are online selling products that purport to be legitimate. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. Maybe they're expired. Maybe they're counterfeit. But you don't want to play Russian roulette with your baby's health. You know, the right thing to do is obviously talk to your pediatrician. And if you can't find product on shelves, I know a lot of churches and synagogues and community groups are putting together parents groups to share product. Don't hoard, share. Again, we have to be good partners, good citizens to get us through, the current shortages, and we'll get there. But also, hospitals are a very good source to go if you need product. They oftentimes have storage, pharmacies as well. Talk to other parents, young moms, young dads, get a grip on what's out there. But don't panic and really be careful about what you might buy online.
All right, Peter Pitts, former Associate Commissioner of the FDA. We appreciate you joining us, sir. Thank you.